God, I knew we're forgetting somebody.
Whoever we forgot, we love you and we
love you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this friendship completely changed Hollywood.
So we were just trying to create some roles for ourselves because we needed to work.
Matt Damon and Ben Affleck have been pursuing their Hollywood dreams together since they were just kids.
I think when we started out, we were trying to be in as many movies together as we possibly could.
And now in their 50s, they're still at it.
Overnight, they went from being struggling actors to Hollywood superstars.
But how? How the heck did these two kids from Boston not only freaking make a movie that they casted their own selves in, by the way, but on their first try, they won a Golden Globe, a Critics' Choice, and a freaking Oscar? How the heck is it even possible to make one movie that was so good it launched your careers forever after? But honestly, you know what I want to know the most? How the heck did... It's the 90s and Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are attending the same school, and from the ages of 8 years old all the way up until today, they had the exact same love for film.
We met, I think, when I was 10 and you were 8.
Yeah, so more than 40 years.
Our moms introduced us. My mom was a professor of early childhood education, and his mom was a 5th grade teacher. So
2 blocks apart. We
lived around the corner. In the mid-'80s, we had a snow day at school, so we would all meet in the Cambridge Common and play tackle football. I mouthed off to a kid that I knew. He was like 6'6". I scored on him or something, and I don't know, I said something. So before I knew it, it was like I was on the ground, he was above me, and it was right then that little 5'2" Ben Affleck tackled this dude off of me, literally at the risk of his own life. But I remember that was like a big moment, going like, this guy is like, he will put himself in a really bad spot for me.
He wouldn't hang out with me until then.
So while in school, not only were these guys chasing their dreams of becoming actors, but they were also somehow landing major film roles, starring in Mystic Pizza, Field of Dreams, School Ties, The Rainmaker. And whatever Matt was doing, he was always making sure his boy Ben was involved too. And even though it seemed like everything was going to plan for these guys, at the age of 18, Ben Affleck broke his hip playing in a basketball game. And even though he had good grades and him and Matt were chasing their dreams and building out their film careers, the guy was just overall struggling in school, man. It wasn't working out for him. So he had to make a move. So he packed up and moved to LA to study at Occidental College while still chasing his dreams of being an actor. As this is happening, Matt Damon is at Harvard University, and he had to write an essay for an English class. And let me tell you something, this essay was the best thing that ever happened to him.
I was in college, and I was writing a one-act play.
We were tasked with writing a one-act play for this by the end of the semester. And I handed this in to the professor, who I really liked, and I said, I think I failed your class because this is not a one-act play, but I believe it's the first act of a movie. And he gave me an A in his class, which really, and he said, keep going with this. Because of this professor's reaction, I had enough confidence to show it to my friend. And I said, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm stuck with this.
And I couldn't really finish it. And so I took it to Ben, who's, you know, my best friend who I grew up with, and we kind of made a pact to write it together.
And was it the first screenplay that you two had written?
Yeah, it was the first anything we had written, you know, because we cheated in high school and we didn't even write our own paper.
We thought it was good, and we thought and we talked about, we should really write this, We were just young enough to be like so incredibly stupid and naive.
I wrote about 40 pages and I showed it to Ben.
It was really satisfying to write something that you know, write locations that you know, places you know, people you know. It came very easily.
And we just started talking, and boom, we just started tumbling off and wrote the script.
Ben acted out the scenes in front of Matt and his class, and before you know it, Matt Damon drops out of Harvard and moves in with Affleck in his Los Angeles apartment, so he can not only act in a movie role he just landed, but they can also work on finishing this script together. Now it's 1994, they finally finished the screenplay, and at this point they were so desperate to get the movie made, they would have sold it to anyone for anything.
Thank God for agents, by the way, because the first day, the first call came in, and you know, they were like offering us like $20 and like a pack of cigarettes, and we were like, take it, man, take it!
But the problem was, the only other film to not only get made, but have its writer star as the lead role was Rocky.
The one thing they were not enthusiastic about was me playing the part, and I really can't blame them. At the time, I know in the back of my mind, if I sell the script and it does very, very well, I'm gonna jump off a building.
And even though that movie would go on to be a major film franchise and win crazy awards, no major producers or studios had faith in these guys, especially since the movie didn't even have a title or names for the characters yet. But then something happened.
Yeah, I don't want to embarrass you. Do you mind telling people how much it was sold for? Or?
It was sold for just over $500,000.
Whoa!
So after a major studio bidding war for this script, not only did Matt Damon and Ben Affleck get funded, but they got $600,000 for this script, split the money right down the middle, and then immediately did what any other two guys in their 20s would have done at the time. Bought themselves a brand new Jeep Cherokee, a full-blown party house looking at the Hollywood Bowl, and after paying their taxes and all the agent fees, in about 6 months, they were flat broke again.
$600,000
hotels. You guys blew right through that, didn't you? You bought Jeeps, you bought...
Well,
all
it turns
kinds of
out,
shit.
Howard, you have to pay
Yeah.
these things called taxes.
But after a year of the studio, Rob Reiner, and William Goldman making them rewrite the script over and over, they started to think, these guys aren't even reading the script. So they tested them out. And they wrote in a fake scene in the script to see if anybody would notice. But eventually, the studio would end up putting major pressure on these guys, telling them if they can't find another company or studio to buy out this project for $1 million, not only was they going to remove Damon and Affleck from the movie, but they were just going to take their script and make the entire movie without them. But somehow Miramax got a hold of this script and bought it for $1 million only if they remove one of the scenes from the script. And guess what scene it was? The fake scene that Ben and Matt put in the script to see if anybody would notice.
That's the scene that we wrote to find out whether guys in your job actually read the script.
Matt and Ben didn't want to just be the writers and the actors. They wanted to direct this movie too. But at this point, the studios just thought, man, these guys are overdoing it. No way we're going to let them direct this project too. So they offered it to other directors like Ben Stiller. And guess what he said?
The first turnoff was that these two guys were attached to it, to act in it, who wrote it. I was like, what? Come on.
Not only that, but believe it or not, even then Weinstein had a bad reputation. People said he had a really bad temper. Even Chris Columbus refused to work with him on this film. And after arguing back and forth with Matt and Ben's first choice to direct this movie, Gus Van Sant, they finally gave in. And before you know it, they started to film it. Look, man, I don't gotta tell you guys this, but just the fact that this movie got made is a miracle. Let alone it being an absolutely amazing movie. Oh my God. And truthfully, I think in Ben and Matt's heads, they're already winners. They landed Robin Williams to act in this movie, which he won an Oscar for. They landed their dream director to direct it, landed at this point $1.6 million for this movie script, which started as a freaking school project. And now these two random kids from Boston who love movies are sitting at award shows with the most talented movie makers in the world. So yeah, at this point, they didn't need to win anything, but instead, they won everything.
And the Oscar goes to Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Yeah!
And thank you so much, the city of Boston, and God, I know we're forgetting somebody.
Whoever we forgot, we love you and we
love you. Thank you so much.
And after this moment, for the next 3 decades, Matt and Ben just started to dominate Hollywood.
I was here 15 years ago or something, and I had no idea what I was doing. I stood out here in front of you all, really just a kid. And I never thought that I would be back here, and I am. And it doesn't matter how you get knocked down in life. All that matters is that you gotta get up.
Not only that, but Matt Damon joined the MCU as a fake Loki, which was hilarious. Ben Affleck became Daredevil and Batman, and wow, what wasted potential that was, but that's another story. And even though these guys stood close, they would go a lot of years without working on another project together. After all of that, the boys finally got back together to make a movie called The Last Duel, and my God, what an underrated movie that is. But it was in 2023 when they made a movie called Air that wasn't just amazing, but it pretty much exposed one of the biggest problems in Hollywood today.
And now, together, they've formed a new production company called Artists Equity that'll give people on the film crew a bigger slice of the financial pie.
When we started this company, we were like, look, we know who makes our movie better.
You can't do this job alone. Like, there are a lot of people that go into it.
That's why it's called Artist Equity, and the idea is that we're pulling a bunch of people above the line who traditionally aren't, and they stand to do a lot better financially than they've ever done on movies before.
So not only did this lifelong friendship see their dreams come true, but I'm pretty sure their lives became even better than what they imagined. And after starring in 2 Christopher Nolan films like Oppenheimer and The Odyssey, it just blows my mind to know that at the end of the day, these were just 2 kids from Boston who loved movies. So you know what, man? In my opinion, this is just another example of the truth. And that's the fact that if you find out whatever it is that you love to do and find just one other person who loves it just as much as you do, and if you want to take it a step further, put God first every single day, I know the Lord will bless you and you will see it through.
Go to work with your best friend, because ultimately, your work becomes the lion's share of what defines your life in terms of the time you spend. And if you don't like who you're working with, and if you have difficulty or trouble at work, I think it's one of the things that can really cause depression, anxiety, and pain for people. And conversely, if you love the people at work, you probably have a pretty good life.